Chapter 2. What to Do with the Body. "I think we have a problem here," Garrett called back cautiously to Dean. He had finally gone to see why Silas had disappeared for so long, and found his body lying motionless in his bed. Garrett shook Silas's body rigorously from the shoulder. "Hey, buddy, come on, snap out of it." But as he shook him, his whole body stayed rigid and fixed, so much so that the bed shook with him as if any force or shock would go straight through him from one end to the other. Garrett reaches for his arm to check for a pulse, and he notices the pill bottle that is tightly held in his left hand. He tries to remove it from his grip, but he finds so much resistance that he has to brace himself against Silas's body to gain leverage as he twists and pries the bottle out of his hand. Petrazidine. Dean leaned against the entranceway while observing the scene. "Do you think he just had a panic attack?" "I've never seen someone have a panic attack and bleed from it before. You better call medical." "Who does the company cover?" asked Garrett. "I think we use TechMed Elite, but I don't know if they cover this part of the system, as they have fairly limited coverage, especially for urgent calls. It's best to clarify with HR first, as they won't be happy about distance charges, and they may have a longer Metapod wait time with us this far out." "Okay." Garrett walked to the wall behind him and touched it to activate a screen. After a few quick screen presses, he brought his left index finger to his head and pressed it behind his left ear. "Hey, Tammy? I got a quick question, sorry to bother you. I want to see if we are still in a location that would be covered by TechMed, or if we had to call someone else." "Don't worry, we're working on things and have it covered." Garrett looks over at the screen behind him and taps it a few times. "We are at approximately 3 hours, 32 minutes, and 55.848 seconds, negative 9 degrees, 27 minutes, 29.77 seconds, and 10.551 Li. Uh-huh. Yes, technically, just by a little." "Oh, okay." Garrett turns back to Dean. "They don't cover anything past Epsilon Eridani, so we will have to contact Outer Health." He turns back to himself. "Let me give them a ring and I'll get back to you. Let me put you on hold just a sec." He then lifts his ring finger to place it next to his pointer, still firmly tucked behind his ear. He turns again to the screen, taps a few more times, and then turns in on himself once again. "Hi, this is Garrett Dunn with Minerva IGT. We're calling because we need an eval and possibly a Metapod sent out." "Uh-huh. Non-urgent, I guess." He stares a bit confusingly at Dean and shrugs his shoulders, and she doesn't seem to have any qualms with that response, and gives a slight nod of approval before going back to listening intently. "Okay, that sounds good. Do we have to do it by video?" "Okay then. I could forward you our HR information and she can fill all that out." "Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some paperwork as well." "Okay, thank you so much. We'll be waiting." He then lowers his ring finger while trying to put in some more details on the screen behind him with the other hand. "Hey Tammy, you there? Well, they're going to send you an evaluation packet, and we need a link to his medical records along with any access to biodata that we keep. Let me know if you need us to fill out an incident report and we'll get started on it. They're going to start a televisit when we're next up in queue, but it might be a while." "Okay, let me know if you need anything else, and we'll get you the incident report once things get settled down here in a little bit." He puts down his finger and turns to Dean. "They said they wanted us to check to see if he has a pulse or any other signs of life, and we are ready in the queue they'll telecon in." "Okay, well you better get to it then," said Dean with confidence. "I better get to it?" "Yes, get to it," Dean repeated with just a slight bit more force. "You know I'm not medical. I'm engineering. None of us are medical, so that's not a very good argument. Engineering is the closest specialty to medicine of the three of us, unless you want me to ask Silas kindly if he would do it himself. You know, you aren't making this easy for me." "Good. Luckily, not making things easy for you is my specialty." Begrudgingly, Garrett leans back over and places 2 fingers on Silas's frozen wrist. "I don't feel a pulse. Try listening to his heart." "Okay," said Garrett, as he slowly leaned further down over Silas and tried to place his ears as best he could between Silas's rigid arms. "I'm not sure I hear anything. Wait a second." Garrett leans slightly closer. "Whoa!" A loud rush of air flew down Silas's throat, making a horrific gasping sound with a slight hollow-sounding resonance to it. Holy hell! Pure fear had stolen Garrett's face as he jumped back abruptly. The air slowly escaped again from Silas's lungs, but with almost no movement from his body. I guess that counts as breathing, Dean said as she smirked, having not flinched at the reaction. Garrett slowly scuttled backwards until his back was against the wall of Silas's room. He struggled to catch his own breath after that scare. Beep beep boppity boppadoop. Damn it again, said Garrett after yet another shock to his system. You need to change that alert tone to something more appropriate. I like that chime. It's fun. The chiming ring continued as Dean placed her hand on the wall next to the entrance to the room and changed it from a pure white to a dark black with a prompt showing outer health in green letters with a red dotted outline. She then brought her finger to behind her ear. This is Aberdeen Melnick, Minerva MGT. How can I help you? Of course, Doctor. Give me a minute and I'll put you on. She pressed through a few prompts on the screen and it transformed into a blurry and pixelated face of a doctor. Through lag and other quality issues, the doctor could be seen as a small, pale, frail man of many years, who seemed to move his head slower than one would normally expect when scanning back and forth, looking throughout the room. His wispy white hair always followed 2 seconds behind, and the base of the video revealed his title, Marshall Rarch, MD. He mouthed words slowly and then paused as if waiting for a response. Oh, sorry about that. Dean quickly started adjusting some settings on the screen. Okay, how about that? I can hear you, but I can't see anything, said the doctor. Oh, hold on, sorry, exclaimed Dean, while quickly reaching for some more settings. Sorry, we keep all the video streams and personal chambers off by default for obvious reasons. The override is in now. Can you see us? Yes, much better. Now what has been going on here? The doctor asked at a leisurely pace. Well, we found him like this a while ago, and we think he stonewalled himself, Garrett explained. Do you know why he did that, or what else was happening beforehand? How many tablets did he take, and did he take anything else? The bottle was still pretty full, and he doesn't take or have access to any other medications that we know of. Before this, we were just in a briefing, and I think he was coughing a bit before he left, but nothing too strange. He didn't seem depressed or too anxious recently, but he has had panic attacks before this. One panic attack, interrupted Dean. Well, either way, that's about it, except it looks like his mouth was bleeding as well. His mouth was bleeding, or he was bleeding out of his mouth? This seemed to arouse some more interest from the otherwise uninterested physician. I don't know, replied Garrett. I really didn't look that close. Well, it could be just a panic attack, but I think it would be safest to send out a metapod for evaluation. The doctor drew a slow breath, paused, and looked away from his screen. It looks like you are at least a couple weeks out until one can get to your location. Do you have any cold storage on board? For long-distance travel, we normally just drop cabin temperature, but we do have a refrigerated lazarette that we use for perishable rations, Dean said. Does it have pressure control as well? It can range from 50 to 150,000 pascals, said Garrett. Okay, listen closely, said the doctor, slowing his speech even further to an almost slothic pace. I need you to store his body there, if possible, and keep the temperature between 2 and 5 centigrade and the pressure around 120,000 to decrease the chance of accidental frost damage. Be careful to keep the pressure stable and not open the hatch abruptly without equalizing the pressure slowly. It won't be the end of the world, but if he wakes up, I'm sure he'll appreciate having eardrums that still function properly. Lastly, right before you put him in, give him an intramuscular injection of 1,500 milligrams of pitrazidine. I will be sending you some further instructions for review for monitoring and to determine if you will require another injection before the metapod arrives. If you have further questions after this, just send them in and I will get back to you. But do you have any questions right now? No, I think we have that down. Thank you, Doctor. Dean turned off the screen and approached Garrett. Grab his shoulders and I will get his legs so we can bring him over there. We'll probably have to make some space. Okay, I guess we're going to have to eat all those pork steaks, replied Garrett. We should probably start with the least calorie-dense veggies and then go from there if we need room. So don't get your hopes up for some wonderful feast tonight. Fine. But what do we do after we, store the body? It should be obvious. We finished the briefing.